Hey, hi, all you lovely people out there. I used to be a driver trainer for a large company. When you are a trainer, they give you the same type of system that I have here, where I have an upper bunk and I have a lower bunk, and you always sleep in the lower bunk when the truck is moving, for safety reasons. And I thought I would go ahead and tell you a few stories about from when I was a trainer. Um, it's not indicative of all truck drivers. It's not most truck drivers. It's not even the vast majority of truck drivers. These are just some exceptional cases. Um, One of them was a guy. He was from South Carolina, and I lived in California at the time. I don't live in California now. I lived in California at the time, and we had picked up a load that was going out to Mississippi and uh, Arkansas, and it was a load of I-beams. And so we made the delivery in Mississippi, and I told him to get out of the driver's seat because I wasn't going to let him back up in this particular instance, because we had to back up 6 miles on a one-lane road. Not even kidding you. Had a lake on one side, a wood line on the other. That's it. Back up. There was no way I was going to let him back up 6 miles on this road. I'm not even kidding you. It was 6 miles. So we backed up on the road. We got half of the load off, and then I pulled forward and pulled out of there. Got everything done. And the guy said, wow, he said, you guys are really good. Yeah, okay. He said, the rest of the freight is mine. He said, it's going to my spot over in Arkansas. He said, so you guys can just follow me there. Okay, fine. He said, on the way, he said, we're going to go to and stop at a Shell station. He said, I own that Shell station, and you guys can have anything you want from that Shell station for free. And my trainee was like, yeah! Okay, sir. So we're driving along. I said, dude, don't take anything from this guy. He said, why not? And I said, because there's no such thing as free. He said, well, what can he do? I said, well, he can go ahead and call up the company and tell them that you took $200 worth of food from his store, that you stole it. I said, they're not going to ask you. They're just going to fire you. He said, well, I take responsibility for my own actions. I said, that's great. I'm glad you do. I said, but I'm your trainer. I said, I'm here to help you and give you the benefit of my experience. I said, I'm telling you, don't take nothing from this guy. I said, I don't trust him at all. I do what I'm going to do. Okay, fine. So we stopped at that little Shell station the guy owned, and my trainee went in, and he came back out a little later, and he said, man, I had 6 microwave sandwiches and 2 sodas. I'm good to go. I'm like, fine. And the guy came out, and he said, are you sure you don't want anything? I said, no, I don't want anything at all. I'm just sitting here in the truck. He said, all right, let's go. So we got to the site, and he said, I got a problem. And I said, yeah, you got a problem. I said, what is your problem? He said, my crew is still over at the other site. He said, I need you guys to help me unload this. And I said, fine, I'll do that. But we don't have an unloading policy at this company, and therefore, I said, I'm working for myself, and I want $400 in cash up front before I even touch a chain on that load. I ain't paying you $400 to unload that load. I'm like, oh, that's just tough. Then I ain't gonna do it. He looked at my trainee and he said, you're gonna help me. He said, well, I'm not supposed. He said, I paid you already. I gave you sandwiches and sodas. Well, help him. Now, if my trainee had not taken anything, like I told him to, I told him, don't take anything from this guy. I don't trust him. Then I could have stood up for my trainee and said, you know what? He doesn't unload stuff. Right? But since he took the stuff and the guy wanted to consider that payment, nothing I can do. Same guy. He'd been on my truck for 7 weeks. He was about ready to graduate. He had 1 more week to go. And we were in California picking up a load, and I stayed overnight. And I got up in the morning. We're at a little bitty truck stop. And I couldn't find him. I didn't know where he was. And so I went to the truck stop. I said, man, you seen this guy walking around? He said, you mean the guy's been on the phone all night? Because we didn't have cell phones then. I said, yeah, probably. I went to the phone booth and there he was. I said, man, we got to get out of here. We got to go. He said, I ain't leaving. I got to go home. I said, okay. I said, what do you got to go home for? He said, my wife left me. Okay. Here's what we'll do. Okay? We'll get you back in the truck. I said, and all your gear. I said, I'll call dispatch in the morning when they come in at 8. And I will tell them that we need load getting you to South Carolina so that you can have a leave of absence. I said, and that way you can get your stuff together, and then you can come back out here with another trainer, and you can finish your training, and you can have a job. No, I gotta go home now. Okay, dude, how much money do you have? He said, $50. I said, $50 is not gonna get you from here to Sacramento, let alone from here to South Carolina. I said, get on the truck, okay, and we'll get you home, and you can make money on your way home. You get $250 a week when you're a trainee. Said, no, I gotta go home now. Dude, your wife left you, okay? She didn't do that because you're a truck driver. She was gonna do that a long time before you became a truck driver. Okay, this was just her reason for going ahead and doing it. So, just get back in the truck, because there's nothing you can really do about it right now. Just get back in the truck. I said, nobody saw nothing. Nobody's going to say nothing. Okay, just get back in the truck and you'll be fine. No, I'm going home. Okay, tell you what, dude. I can stay here for another 60 minutes and then I got to go. Okay, because we got to go get this thing I picked up. You got 60 minutes to think it over. 60 minutes later, I pulled out of the parking lot. It's too bad because he was a good driver. He was gonna graduate off my truck. But I was gonna tell you about one more guy. He was a retired lieutenant colonel from the U.S. Army. He was one of my trainees, and what he wanted to do was get a couple years of experience, buy his own truck, and go out and run the hot boards. For those of you who don't know what a hot board is, those are those boards you see in the truck stop that have loads listed and stuff. Those are hot boards. And he was a lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army, and he worked in the weather service. And we were sitting out there in St. Louis, down by the cattle pens, and I said, it's going to be foggy in the morning, so, we got to leave early so we can kind of get, move slower. He said, yeah. I said, cow fog. And I said, what? He said, cow fog. So what is cow fog? And he said, down by the cattle pens, he said, well, if you've ever driven past cows and it's cold outside, there's always a fog over them. And that fog is called cow fog. It comes from their bodies. I said, I wasn't aware that it had a name. So I learned that. And one day we were in Texas. We were on our way to El Paso, and we stopped at the Tiger truck stop, right around milepost 100 there. And we stopped and got fuel, and we got a shower, and I said, let's go meet in the restaurant. So he said, you go ahead and take your time when you're in the shower, he said, because we ain't going to be going nowhere for a while. And I said, why not? And he said, because it's dangerous to travel in the desert when it's raining. And I said, dude, it's not going to rain. I mean, the skies are blue. He said, okay, you go ahead and believe that. So, got a shower and all that, came out and got into the restaurant, and then all of a sudden, boom! And the thunder and lightning and stuff, and the rain started coming down, and I said, how did you know that was going to happen? And I saw a little bit of a phenomenon in the sky, he said, And that told me that it was going to rain. He said, I was a colonel in the weather service in the U.S. Army. He said, this is my forte, is what I know. He said, not to mention that my degree is in meteorology. And I'm like, wow. Wow, I never would have even known that was even coming. So sometimes you can learn a little bit from your trainees about stuff that's not about trucking, and most of the time they need to learn a lot from you about what is trucking. But that's just 3 of the guys that I trained out here. One of them did not graduate. The first guy didn't graduate because I didn't let him graduate. The second guy didn't graduate because he wouldn't let himself graduate. The third guy did graduate. So that's all.